Dear boomers, in the silence of being alone, where does your mind wander? The thinking of the mind can be very distracting, let's put it that way. And there's so many things we can do to live in a peaceful environment when we live alone. I have lived alone since 2020 after my husband's death and from COVID. And so, right after his death, everything closed down, and I was not getting the visitors that I thought I would be getting. I thought people would come over and bring me food, and even though I wasn't eating, but they didn't because of the quarantine. That was something else. That was something else. So since that time, I have understood the wisdom of what it means to live in solitude. We discover that it's not loneliness, or I have discovered that it's not loneliness at all, because I can do whatever I want to do at any time of day or night. But there is a certain discipline involved. I don't want to, not do anything, which is not anything I am guilty of, really. I think that living in a state of solitude is really an aura of vibrant self-sufficiency. And it has you can create a deep resonant peace that echoes the teachings of the great religious leaders, the great religious leaders. The Buddha, once a prince with every conceivable luxury, found his greatest riches in the quiet of solitude. His journey towards enlightenment began and bloomed in the stillness away from the clamor of court life. And it taught us that true wisdom and happiness often lies on the path that is walked alone. So let us channel the Buddha and his teachings to frame our own understanding of what it means to be living alone fully and vibrantly and joyously. As we navigate through the noise of our busy lives, some of us don't have as busy. I have a busy life, but it's not going out into the world to do anything. And so I'm working on my YouTube channel, and I'm working on my affiliate business and growing my knowledge of the online business world. So I am busy. But for others, the idea of living alone can be daunting and even unwelcome. So somebody like me who might be lonely might go out desperately trying to find a mate. No, 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 no. Now, I really loved living with my husband, but I don't feel that I think that era of my life is over. So, living alone or feeling lonely is what people fear. And but within that feeling of solitude lives a galaxy of possibilities. A galaxy, which means that the world, the universe, wants to help you. Beyond the veil of solitude lies a vast reservoir of strength, creativity, and unprecedented personal growth. I am not the same person as I was when my husband passed from COVID. I had to become self-sufficient here in this beautiful place with my dogs. So, I live living with these two dogs probably means that I don't live alone, but I do. We have lots of communication, and I take care of them, and they take care of me. So we have to realize that when we live alone, we are meeting ourselves. We are becoming a canvas upon which to paint a vivid portrayal of our true self. In solitude, we meet the unfiltered version of our psyche. We are learning to dance with our deepest thoughts and emotions, turning what many fear as a hollow echo into a symphony of self-awareness and introspective wisdom. So the essence of solitude, we uncover the layers of what it means to live all by yourself and how amidst the quiet one can cultivate a life of contentment, creativity, and connection with your higher self, connection with the elements. Right outside this door, I have a lot of plants. The nature spirits are there. My gourds are growing up. We can discover how solitude can be a sanctuary, a workshop, a haven for creativity, and a gateway to inner tranquility. So we have to kind of redefine what solitude is and reimagine it through the lenses of, say, let's use Buddha as an example. We can learn to see solitude not as a void of loneliness, but as a space trimming with potential. Imagine waking up in the morning that belongs solely to you, where the first breath you take is an ode to personal freedom. It's all yours. Think of the peace that comes from knowing that your space is entirely your own. A kingdom and a queendom where every decision, from the mundane to the monumental, is yours to make. This autonomy over your daily life is not just liberating. We will explore the practical aspects of living alone, from the joy of cooking for one to the zen of managing one's personal space. We will delve into how these daily activities can become acts of mindfulness. Each movement, each breath is a meditation. Each choice is a reflection of your deepest values and aspirations. And so we easily can go beyond the physical when we live a life like this. We can dive into the emotional and spiritual dimensions of solitude. How does one harness the quiet to forge a robust inner life? How can the teachings of Buddha guide us in nurturing a soulful solitude that feeds not just the mind, but the heart and the spirit? You can get into meditation practices. You don't have to just meditate once a day. You can meditate. Some people meditate 2, 3, 4 times a day, especially if they have a health condition. They might need to use those moments of meditative solitude to heal their bodies and their minds and their soul. So I would like you to pause a minute and reflect and engage with me. Share your thoughts, your fears, and your discoveries about living alone down below here. And if you do live alone, how has solitude shaped your life? Do you sometimes wish that you did live alone, or at least map out periods of being solitary at least a few moments in your day? So there is a tip. I'm going to go through some tips. Embrace the challenge, finding freedom and peace in solitude. Living alone can initially seem like stepping into a vast, uncharted territory, and that is the way it felt for me. And in fact, days after my husband's death, after I got things settled, I actually did start studying Buddhism, not with an intention to become a Buddhist. But I have found that Buddhist teachings, Buddhism, is in line with the way I wish to live and have lived my life. I mean, I have things to change. I know that I can do better in some areas of my life, but that is what solitude can help you to find those areas and be honest about those areas of your life where you can become better. The silence of an empty room, for instance, might feel overwhelming, but there really isn't much silence around here. You know, my chimes out here are constantly going, and we're going to have a thunderstorm in As that thunderstorm starts to build, the chimes go wild. The birds are in the bird bath back here, and I have set up a bird station out front. We're a feeding station for the birds, and I'd like to listen to the birds, but then there's a lot of traffic out here, sirens. And believe me, when I hear a siren, I always think, well, somebody has had a heart attack, and so I can say a prayer for them. The silence is not a void awaiting dread. It is a canvas waiting for strokes of creativity and self-expression. There are psychological shifts that take place. That it has to do with embracing versus enduring. So that's a mindset shift. You want to embrace the experience, not just hold on and endure it. The first step in transforming solitude from a burden to a blessing is a psychological shift from enduring to embracing. To embrace solitude is to accept and welcome it as a friend and a guide. This shift begins with changing our internal narratives about being alone from a narrative of loneliness to one of opportunity and self-enrichment. Well, another tip is to create a sanctuary of solitude. Transform your living space into sanctuaries that celebrate solitude. This doesn't require significant financial investment. In fact, it shouldn't cost anything at all. Here in Pennsylvania, we have frequent flea markets or garage sales and stuff like that. You can drive around and find a table for $2, or you can find a lamp for 50 cents and that kind of thing. So really, this kind of thing is not expensive at all. Sanctuaries of solitude. It can be as simple as arranging a cozy reading nook, or setting up a meditation space, or decorating with art that inspires you, or that you yourself have painted. Now, there's so much that can be learned from silence. And as I said, there really isn't any silence, not here. In the quiet, ask yourself the hard questions you might avoid in the hustle of everyday life. And that's the truth. If you it may not be silent around here, but I slow down my life and I can start to get into the spaces of my mind and ask important questions. What is the thing that brings me genuine joy? And what fears do I have about being alone? And what can they teach me, these fears, instead of acting like I shouldn't have any fears? What can these fears teach me? And use this time to delve into personal development books. I hesitate to show you this pile of books I have over here. Listen to enlightening podcasts, of which there are many, or start a creative project that channels my reflections and discoveries, such as this YouTube channel or my blog, or write a small novel or a memoir. And by the way, I have written my nursing memoir, and I have it here in the house. The art of doing nothing. Oh yes, we have talked about that. Just absolutely doing nothing, taking in the breath, listening to the things that are within hearing distance, communing with my animals. My little Boston Terrier follows me around everywhere. In fact, this morning I was doing some exercises on a machine I've had for years, and he was lying next to the machine looking up at me. These dogs, these Boston Terriers are so loyal. I love him. Just love him. So we do live in a world that praises constant activity. So when we choose the stillness and the pausing and the resting, we are doing something that is actually revolutionary. Sitting quietly with your thoughts, and as you breathe, the thoughts kind of dissipate, can be an exercise in strength and courage. It allows you to process feelings, dream freely, and rest your body and your mind. We have to rest. So we can turn challenges into opportunities. Every challenge that solitude presents is an opportunity for growth. If you feel lonely, you explore why you feel, and also these feelings of loneliness come and go. Any feeling comes and it goes. Nothing is stays forever. Nothing is permanent. So you can use these insights to connect with other people. If you find the quiet unsettling, experiment with ways to engage your senses, like playing music, cooking a new recipe, or starting a home workout routine. Let us talk about embracing self-reliance. Living alone enhances your self-reliance because you're doing everything. You're managing the finances, you're managing the cleanliness in your home, you're managing the food that you eat, hoping that the food that you eat is healthy. And you celebrate the small victories. They are affirmations of your capacity and your resilience. So as you grow more accustomed to solitude, you may find a surprising truth that peace was never about the absence of noise, but about the presence of harmony within. And we talked about the breathing of the heart and the brain, bringing these things into coherence. You naturally live in a state of peace and tranquility. Meditation and mindfulness practices can help cultivate inner peace that you are seeking, you are creating. They teach us to observe our thoughts and emotions without getting swept away by them. If we have a feeling, I am not my feeling, I am not my thoughts. And it allows us to respond to life's challenging situations with calmness and clarity. So when we live alone, it's about embracing yourself, really. It's a journey of self-discovery where each day offers insights into who I am and who I can become. Document these insights through journaling or creative expression, and it can serve as milestones on your personal journey. It is a good idea to keep track of these things, and then you can look back and see how far you've come or how far you need to go. So we need to encourage ourselves along this journey, and don't think that you need to be somewhere else to be happy, which is not a recipe. That's kind of a recipe for very deep unhappiness. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. Each person's journey is unique, and challenges are a natural part of growth. Reach out to your friends, find online communities, or seek professional help if you need. You are not alone in feeling alone. So, tip 2, confronting loneliness. Tip number 2 is transforming solitude into connection with your higher power. I have dogs, connection with my dogs and my neighbors, and I have friends who are busy with their own lives, that's for sure. So in this exploration, we dive into how loneliness, when embraced with mindfulness and understanding, can lead to a significant self-discovery and a richer connection with the world. And then we have to understand what loneliness is. It's the first step in transforming loneliness is to understand its nature. Loneliness can make us feel isolated, but it is a universal human experience, something that everyone at some point goes through. And by recognizing this, we can begin to see our feelings of loneliness not as a personal failing, but as a part of our human condition. Because we are, at the heart of it all, we are social beings. And that is true. We can transform our loneliness through compassion, mindfulness, and solitude. It really helps to meditate when nobody's around, and we can find connection in disconnection. What does that mean? Finding connection in disconnection in moments of loneliness The key is to find ways to connect with internally and externally what is in front of you and what is within you, and to realize that your happiness does not depend on anything outside of yourself, by any circumstances, or you start to buy things. The things that you buy are not going to bring you happiness. These things are valuable lessons. You can reach out to friends, you can participate in community activities, or volunteering can be wonderful. I had been working in such dysfunctional work environments for so long that I know if I went out into the world to volunteer, that I would be meeting unhappy people because I don't think the volunteering is making them happy. So I prefer staying at home and working on my projects that I can offer to the world as my gift to it. Then we have technology. Technology offers unique ways to bridge the gap of physical solitude with our online communities and virtual meetups and digital communications. And of all the things I had been a part of online communities for years, but my favorite is Dean Holland's community and his wise teachings about mindset in regards to having an online business, how his own journey was very difficult and not giving up, and he kept at it, and he wants to teach us to keep at it too and stop being lured away by bright shiny objects. That's by now everybody should know what that is. And then we can build a sangha. One time we were a part of a Paramahansa Yogananda sangha. We would meet, this was long before COVID, we would meet in a home of people who actually built a sanctuary to study Yogananda's teachings, but also to meditate. And we would go there and meditate and chant, and that was precious, very, very precious. And then there were some health problems with the people who had been offering their space, and we had to disband. And then people did meet other places. A sangha can be not just a meditation group, though. It can be meeting your friends on Zoom, or meeting people and having meaningful discussions. You can have book discussions, and that can be a sangha. So this is it's actually a community that acts as a mirror that reflects our own experiences and offers different perspectives, helping us to grow and reconnect, and connect and reconnect. So aloneness is not necessarily the art of solitude, but you have to be alone in order to embrace the art of solitude. It's just, being alone doesn't have to be loneliness, and it can be a profound source of strength and independence. So learn to enjoy your own company is important and empowering, and that is an important part of living alone. Enjoying your own company, making jokes to yourself or to your dogs. And my dog, the Boston, he is a hoot. He's a hoot. He makes me laugh throughout the day. And then routine and rituals, it's important to have a routine. As Dean Holland had offered a video to us yesterday about the importance of making your bed. But my little Boston Terrier won't let me make my bed. Or he thinks he's helping me make my bed. The dear little soul. I love him. So we have to create rituals and routines and follow them so that we feel like we are still a part of the world. And some people like to stay in their pajamas until noon, and I don't think that's a good idea. For me, it's not a good idea. So I believe in continuous self-discovery. That's what this channel is all about. And confronting loneliness is a journey of continuous self-discovery, because I have to say, sometimes I feel lonely. I have a friend that she and I meet at least twice a week, and we are friends from long ago. And after my husband's death, she reached out to me, and we have enjoyed taking walks together and watching various Netflix specials. The other day, we both watched the Gene Houston Quantum Force program. So we have a lot in common. We have a lot of history in common. So if you are living by yourself, you have to develop self-sufficiency. And that means that you have to, it's more, it's just not alone. It's not just taking care of yourself, but it's like taking care of different things around the house. Fixing a toilet the other day was very satisfying, that kind of thing. And not hiring somebody who would have charged $100 or more. The fact is that I only charged the thing that I bought, the part that I bought for the toilet, only cost $8. So the foundations of self-sufficiency are engraved in this whole idea of being alone. And, we can, it is a lot. You have to do everything yourself, but that's fine. I can do it on my own schedule. And we can become financially independent, figure out ways to make a little bit of money here and there and have flows and have different streams of income. And that's what I'm working on, because the thing about boomers is that they're all, one of our main fears that we have in common is that we will outlive our assets and our savings. And by pursuing online, these online streams of income, I am at least becoming proactive about my future, financial future. So there you have it, really. Please, let's see here. Yeah, there will be a video that shows up right here. Give me your comments down below, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.